Okay, just a quick sidebar for you here. You'll notice that we sort of move away from constructors and then later on in the lesson we move back to constructors again. And that's not how I had this lesson planned out originally, but certain things came up throughout the development of this lesson that made me rethink the curriculum. And that is what the sidebar is all about, so what is next and why the lectures are in this order. Later in the lesson, when we continue the discussion on constructors, we'll step through some of the code using the debugger, and then something called the this pointer will show up. So again, just having a basic understanding of the this pointer when we get to those lectures will simply make it a bit easier for you to understand what's going on. Now before explaining the this pointer, I need to explain static members because a this pointer is not available to a static member function. So basically you need to understand static members and static member functions first before we get to the this pointer lecture. Otherwise there are a few things that I'll have to sort of gloss over and maybe talk about later, and I don't really want to do that. When I talk about the this pointer, I want to talk about it, in the detail that I want to, and so we can sort of get that out of the way. Now in the lecture on static members, there's a demo where I need to use the destructor for the class, which is why I'm going to cover destructors first. Now at this point we've already talked about the constructor, so it makes sense that we talk about the destructor next anyway. And then we'll do a couple more lectures, and then eventually we'll get back to constructors. There's quite a few more lectures that we have to do on constructors, at which point I like to step through the code just for demonstration purposes, and then at that point it'll be easier for you to follow along with what's going on. So as you can see, sometimes developing a curriculum like this is kind of like a puzzle. You have to think about the examples that you want to present, and oftentimes something shows up that is sort of unexpected, and then you have to shuffle things around a bit. Of course, I can do just like in most other courses. I can talk about the this pointer later and static members later, but I want these things to be in a more logical order. So just keep working through these lectures one at a time, and by the end of the section I hope you'll see why I chose this order and why this detour was sort of necessary. Okay, so just a quick note on that and an overview of what is coming up next. So I'll see you in the next lecture where we'll discuss destructors.